Sponsored by Women Technology. Take advantage of our end of summer promotion, offering a $30 off bundle discount on the whole test take-up panel controls through September 2021.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. It's mid-September 2021 and we've got a massive DCS World Open Beta patch version 2.7.6.12852. The first things to point out are obviously the Mosquito FB6 is now out. And I'm going to go through it and do videos on it, but I need time to study it. So anything Mosquito will come in separate videos over the next week or so. Also, items under the F-16C in the red box. So we're talking about radar changes and HSD changes. Again, I need to study that properly, do a separate video on it, and I'll present that later next week. Everything else we're going to go over now. These are all of the changes that I think you guys, the valued viewers and DCS players, need to be aware of. So let's start with DCS General. Added a new feature into the payloads panel in the mission editor, loadout per pylon restriction. So select our aircraft, click on the payload option, payload restrictions. Let's say for our roleplay that on Station 9 we didn't want to allow the AMRAAM Bravo only. We could go Station 9 here, untick that. This means that in multiplayer the human could no longer select the AIM-120 Bravo on Station 9 even if it was available at that base. Added H-6J Chinese strategic bomber. So this is a real asset to the Chinese and DCS and a real worry to the rest of us. It's really powerful. It is the Chinese version of the Badger export version. It's got several interesting features, the main ones of which are the types of anti-ship missile that it can carry. For instance, we have the KD-20, which is that guy there. We can have a KD-63, which looks kind of like a modern terminal guided Styx missile to me. Let me know what you think. We've got a KD-63 Bravo, so a different type of seeker with that. We've got the mighty YJ-12, and we've already seen how deadly a missile like that can be. And the YJ-83K, which I've already got in game or versions of it, plus a bomb bay with 24 bombs. It's a real beastie, this is. So we are no longer going to be particularly safe on our aircraft carriers, and of course we will test these at some point. Added Syrian version of the Sa-5 S200 with 3D radar, TIR and launchers. So until this point, the absolute daddy in DCS World was this, the late 70s SA-10 S300 PS set consisting of 6 different vehicles. It has a range of, well, you know what, we'll find out, shall we? But now we've got this. It's much bigger. The Sa-5 S200, and it is just mighty in every possible way. It's already just found a target, and they're already aiming up, which is slightly worrying. It consists of, before they shoot, of the tin shield. Oh, and it's already fired. Let's just pause that. And the square pair and the launchers themselves. These absolutely enormous 35-foot long missiles, longer than the plane you're actually going to shoot down. If you want to blow something up in space, I suggest Sa-5. Just to give you an example, he's just fired at 150 nautical miles. You can get more of it out of it if you want, but I thought we'd be conservative at 150 nautical miles, which is just ridiculous in every single way possible. Let's compare that as to when the S300 fires. Let's look at the missile itself. It starts with the 4 boosters, then it starts its own rocket motor, and off it goes. It's very loud. Now look at the speed on the bottom left. 2,000, 2,500, over 3,000 knots at 60,000 feet. If anyone can do that in Mach, I'm going to guess about Mach 6 or 7 or something ridiculous like that. And we'll just speed it up, obviously, because this is a very quick video. 90,000 feet, 100,000 feet, going for 110, yep, over 100,000 feet, dropping down on the target, kind of Phoenix style. This is not a new missile per se. This is a 1960s missile set, modernised and used to the modern day, because presumably it's just a massive amounts of pure power. It's doing a thing. It looks like the first one has failed. No, it's not failed yet. It's dropping down on him. It's dropping down almost like an alarm. Can't see it. Look, it's dropping right down on his little head. There he is. Dropping on you. And we can see we've got a failure, which at that range is not atypical, of course, of a missile like this. It's actually going to technically nose down and chase him now. Whee. And when you're getting shot at 150 miles from a target, it's just the mother of all missiles. Let's see if we can get him to fire again. Stand by. It's basically a Saturn V for shooting down aeroplanes. Don't worry, valued viewers, we will of course use this against an SR-71. I don't recommend being in the SR-71 at the time. The set there looks very much like a... oh, whoops. There's the booster's gone. An internal motor. Here we go again. 3,000 knots, already dropping down. Where's our friend? Oh, this one looks a bit more promising, guys. Oh, didn't want to be there. I, of course, have set him to invincible. That is a 400+ pound warhead when you absolutely need something to die. And only now is the Grumble firing. Two independent SA-5s have gone out in series, and only now the SA-10's firing at 40 miles. So it's got about 3 times the range of an SA-10, which makes me feel sick because that is just so crazy. We'll learn more about it as we go on and how to defeat it and stuff like that. But that's just really crazy, man. Added simulation of post-penetration physics for delayed fused bombs. Finally! They will now penetrate the ground and objects, and they will de-accelerate accordingly. I am going to drop a delayed fused GBU-10 on that big concrete thing there. Let's see what happens. Bomber Vic. Down she goes. Guidance, please. Guidance found. In you go. What will you do? It works! Look at that! A thing works! It's gone all the way through. And it's going to sit there. Let me ready. I'm going to unpause it. Yay! We've got penetration bombs! Oh, that's so cool. Added a nav aid panel in Mission Editor. This is the patch, valued viewers, that just keeps on giving. Watch this now. View, we're on the Caucasus obviously, there are lots of radio nav aids, but they're hard to know where they are. So view, beacons info. We have now a list here. The list is filter based, so if we turned everything on, we've now got all of the different possible nav aids on this map. PRMG, ICLS, ILS, RSBN, TACAN, 4DME, DME4, all the different types of possible radio navigation, and it shows you all the different information. It's too much to go through now, but just take my word, it is extremely useful tool. And if you want to home in on one to know exactly where that is, which let's face it, we always do, let's say Tbilisi, that one there, that VOR there, select it, go to beacon, ta-da, and there it is in the middle of the screen at the current zoom level. Really, really good piece of logistics there. The Patriot SAM, indication of radar launcher sector coverage, has been added. Yet another really useful feature from this patch. Now, as you know, Patriot, if you've watched any of my interviews, they are not 360 degrees like Grumble. They are sector based. They cover a sector of a circle. So if you put one down now, and you've say got the radar systems here, it shows the segment of the circle that it can scan in. And also when it comes to the launchers, we've got a launcher there, for instance, you can now see the kind of red line segment of the circle that the launcher can fire in. So that's a really useful piece of symbology. Added tool for setting position by coordinates. So I want to go to a certain coordinate so I can do stuff there. Customize, set position, the coordinate system that you want, lat long, decimal, precise lat long, 8-digit or MGRS. I'm going to go lat long 6-digit. So 4238 minutes and 38 seconds and 42 easting degrees, 22 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, and then I can zoom in, and that is that exact coordinate right there, and I can place my the tank or whatever at that. Really cool feature. The F-16C Viper. Tuning of angle of attack and load factor limit for sustained rate PS for category 1 limitation. Instantaneous turn rates and accelerated rates are still undergoing adjustment. Well, let's at least have a look to see if there's been any changes in the sustained turn rate. So I've been testing the F-16C now in Cat 1 configuration with 10% fuel, drag index equals 0, ISA on the deck. As you can see, the best, most reliable data I got was CAS 400 to 410 for several turns, and I averaged 22 degrees per second sustained turn rate. Plug it into our sheet. This is the one here that we've just done. These are all of our previous records. That lot with 50% gas, and I'm now changing over to 10% gas, so I'm redoing them all slowly for 10% gas. This is the F-16C here, as we've done it today with the latest patch, and 400 to 410 CAS, same thing at this level with no wind. We achieved an average of 22 degrees per second in that threshold, which is the threshold that we found the best. Still 1 degree down from the F-18 at 23 degrees per second, and still just above the F-14. No major changes. I hope that was useful. Added MGRS option from steer point page for steer points 21 to 25. The selection of manual and auto steer point sequencing has also been adjusted. So to get to the steer point DED page, click that there. We can convert the lat long coordinates here into MGRS and back again, but for some reason only with steer points 21 to 25. If you know why that is, please let me know, but those ones only. So I'm incrementing up to 21 there. If I now press dobber right or sequence here with the mouse, wait a few seconds, it will change that lat long to MGRS. You might want to do that, for instance, if a helicopter pilot that can only work in MGRS wants to know that information in MGRS, then you can now read it out to him. And if we press it again, back to our native lat long. Also, the way in which we change this steer point updater from manual to auto has changed. We now do it by going down on the dobber there and then pressing select or 0 there. So manual steer point update, auto steer point update. FA-18C Hornet added ammo mixes, M50 PGU working selection. We're not entirely sure, but we think it must be this. We're in the payload screen for the F-18 and you go ammo type here. If you remember, we only used to have one type of ammo, and now we've got HEIT, HEI, AP, TP, Sa-5 and TP PGU. So I guess it's simply a change that we now have those different types of ammo. Let me know if you think I've missed anything. Thank you. Mi-24P Hind. Petrovich, AI ATGM guidance process improved. Basically, he's become a bit more accurate with his Sturm guidance. Petrovich AI target acquisition code refactoring. So this has changed the way he finds targets to make it more realistic. For instance, he will now not acquire targets in the dark or dark enough environment. He will see targets in dark environments if they are illuminated by flares. So that's really interesting. He will see targets behind some obstructions that were blocking acquisition before, but geometrically were not covering the target. Known issue in some specific relatively good light conditions, Petrovich acquiring targets too close, and it's work in progress. We have some new keybinds to use if we are flying as Petrovich and we want to control the AI pilot. We have the new HOTAS binds of turn to the heading of the sight, ATGM launch align maneuver, and an evasive turn, which is 180 degrees turn. Added different variations of ammo belts for main cannon. In the payload screen for the Mi-24, we can now have for the main 30 Mike twin barrel cannon, combat mix more tracers, combat mix no tracers, 30 Mike HE and 30 Mike armor piercing. Added some more HOTAS keybinds. One is for dust protection filters, the other is for moving map adjustment, which is very useful. Added clickable areas for wheel brake and parking brake on the stick. This is our stick for the pilot, the Mi-24. We can now click with our mouse the wheel brake. Look at that. Pip, 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 pip. This, we're supposed to be able to click the parking brake, but we can't. That doesn't work. You will need to do that with the bind still. So that's just how it is. Added functionality for the timing device in the front seat. I'm in the front seat. We're going to use our fancy little timing device. So we've got two dials here. This one's 2 seconds, 4 seconds, up to 9 seconds. This one's 8 seconds, up to 38 seconds. We are going to unlock the dial with left click. We are going to use mouse scroll wheel to select the amount of seconds. 4.1 seconds or whatever that is there. And lock it again with left click. Which dial do I want to use, left or right? I want to use left. And I'm going to go start timing now on. After that amount of seconds, this yellow light will show, telling us to do whatever work there. That was the 4 seconds. And then at that point is when you drop the bomb. It's to be used in correlation with bomb aiming tables, which as far as I'm aware we don't have, but that's how that system works. C-101 Aviojet. So we've got a whole bunch of HOTAS bindings added for the EB version. We've got a UF main rotary, UHF frequency mode rotary, and a TACAN mode rotary. For the CC model, bomb arming selector added, mode selector, ripple cycle time switch, selective jettison switch, VHUHF main mode rotary, VUHF frequency mode rotary, VHF com mode rotary, VHF nav mode rotary. Also, the mirror can now be toggled with the mouse. Mirror, left click, right, left click again, right click, drag, and maybe even a mouse scroll. Look at that. They really have covered all the bases there. F-14 Tomcat regards setting mission editor random failures. All of these engine failures should be added to the list. Well, the problem is, valued viewers, I've got a Tomcat here. I've got an A model. I've made it play as I should. I've gone to failures, random failures as I should. There should be a list of these engine failures in here, and they are not in there. I tried it on the Bravo model, and I've tried on client instead of player. They're just not in there. Let me know if I'm doing something wrong, but basically, they're just not there. Added a second readout row for the TID, including target aspect angle, as per updated software tapes in the real F-14. This one has got us completely stumped. We need your big brains, valued viewers. Please help us out. So, RA, range from us to the target. The target is there. We are there. Range of 47 miles. BR, buffer register apparently. Altitude of the target there. This is the new one, RT. What does RT stand for? No one knows. It's not in the manual. 6'2" is definitely a azimuth angle, but we can't understand it. So watch what happens as Damp pulls a left turn in his Tomcat. Watch that number change. It's reducing now. It's something to do with the heading of that target or the angle of that target, but we can't actually figure it out. Pause there, please, Damp. You can see currently at that position there, RT equals 5'1". If you go F10, you'll see there's nothing in there which equals 5'1". I mean, it's on a heading from us to him, true, of 309, and it just so happens that, of course, 360 take away 309 equals 51. So it may have something to do with that, but I'm not convinced. You guys let me know, please, because we just can't figure it out. Explicitly disabled lofting for the AIM-7 mic and the AIM-7F. We have an F-14 here, as you can see, with AIM-7 mics on it. We're going to fire a long-range one of them at a baddie. When you're ready, Damp, please fire the AIM-7 at the baddie at long range, and let's see it not loft.
Launching in 3, 2, 1.
F6 the missile, please, when you can, when it's out. And there you go. We're no longer lofts, as promised by the HB guys. Very good. Set mechanical and electric fusing switches to safe at cold start. In the Rio seat for the Tomcat here, the A or the B, as standard now, the mechanical fuse for the bombs or whatever are set to safe, and the electric fuse are also set to safe. The Gazelle, new pilot models. The horrendous 8-bit, low polygon, really ugly guys have been changed to very handsome, high fidelity, well shaded, well textured models. The channel map added textures for the winter season. All bridges in the map are now destructible. Yay! Added a destructible unique prison complex at Amiens with the cemetery. And added a unique complex, Citadel de Arras. The Marianas map. A new runway is added to Anderson Northwest Field. And new unique objects were added, Nico Hotel, a visitor centre, and a purification Catholic church. What the heck is that? I don't know. So, the bits that I've missed in the red boxes, I will make videos on next week. That is the patch roundup for this month. I'll see you next month.